and I've got a llama, a goose, and a couple of hedgehogs on a tandem bike. My studio is really bare at the moment. You can see there's nothing in it. We recently redecorated our flat and we haven't put all the things together yet. So I'm literally just sitting surrounded by piles of books and other things. Today is all about a llama, a goose, and 2 hedgehogs that are going for a walk in an autumny, rainy, wintry, snowy scene. Yeah, let me show you the whole process. I'll talk you through what I'm doing, and if you are interested in trying the Fresco app, what, you haven't tried it yet? You have to try it. It's my favorite app now. When you're actually drawing on paper and it's really enjoyable, you get the same feeling here on this app. I'm not even sponsored by Adobe, but hey. So actually I had a sketch. I know I said I don't do loads of sketches beforehand, but I did a few sketches of hedgehogs kind of a while ago, and I imported my sketch into Fresco, and then basically I'm coloring it in. That's all I'm doing. And this, you can see that I'm using a watercolor live brush. And the watercolor brush is so nice because it acts like real watercolor. The colors blend together as you draw. It takes a little bit to kind of get used to it, but even just watching it do its thing is completely amazing. And the story behind these hedgehogs is that when I used to live in Cambridge, I used to go to work, and I worked in a college, and every day I would walk past this primary school and I would see parents taking their kids to school on bikes. And because it was autumn, it was always rainy and quite windy, and it was really fun to see these families as they went to school, because they were struggling with the rain. But I thought that it was just such a relatable situation that many parents and many children will recognize. And that's why I did this, like a mom, or it could be a dad hedgehog, and a child hedgehog, and they're on a bicycle. I just realized that they're not wearing helmets, but hey, in the perfect picture book world, I'm sure they're going to be fine. And this brush, I'm using my favorite basic brush. It's called a pencil. It's just a pencil brush, but I find that Adobe Fresco pencil is so much better than Adobe Sketch pencil, which I used before. And now I want to show you my favorite technique that I have been using, which is making layer masks. So when you make a layer mask, then you can add more details and textures in different brushes, but it's not going to go outside the borders of your original shape. So I just find it so useful for adding textures and making the illustration look more handmade. And really, I love adding hats and scarves to all my characters. I think it's just such a cute way to make any character look extra cute. And I think also because I come from Russia, I still remember when I was young, and it was really always magical in winter when the first snow appears, and then you get to wear all of these really warm hats and scarves. And I think that maybe it takes me back to that time. And that's another really cool tool that I love in Fresco, is the transform tool. It's so easy to transform any layer. And talking about layers, you can have as many layers as you like. You never run out of layers, because that was something really bad in Sketch. You were only allowed a handful of layers. I always used to run out, and then I couldn't complete the illustration to the standard I wanted. But here, I mean, you're confident that you're always going to have as many layers as you need. And it's just so much easier to create a shape and then be able to transform it. So you can, for me, visually, it's much easier to see the shape visually and then understand whether it works or not. So it's so nice to have all of these extra tools that really enhance the drawing experience. And especially, I find that for facial expressions, being able to erase, transform, resize is so useful, because I feel like the facial expression can make or break the illustration. And when you can visually move things about and find the place where they really fit, for me that's a much better way of working than to sketch it over and over again on paper, because I usually get a bit discouraged if I sketch it many times on paper and it doesn't come out as I want. But on iPad you can nail it like in 5 minutes. I really love adding details. I think, I don't know what it is, but I always, since I was really young, I love doing really repetitive, meticulous things, and it just, I always found that it helped me relax. So I always loved crafts and making jewelry with beads, just because it took bloody ages, and it kind of, I just love this sort of thing. So I love adding hairs, different details, and I find that with Fresco, because the tools are so much more precise, it has that sort of enjoyable feeling to it, which I really like. So I'm looking forward to hours and hours and hours of my life adding hairs onto different animals. I think that is going to be my life goal, and as long as I get to do that, my life is perfect and complete. Yes. In the past, I used to always sketch with pens and pencils. I was even known as the pencils girl, because I used to carry a massive pencil case full of different drawing tools with me everywhere, and I used to sketch with real materials in cafes and everywhere, and I really like it. There's nothing wrong with real pens and real pencils, and if you have lots of time and you're not pressed for deadlines, I think it's like amazing. Of course, it's an amazing way of working. But when I draw commercially, I get really stressed out with having to scan things, having to then clean them up, and making mistakes that you can't fix so easily. It just added a lot of stress to my commercial work. And in that sort of time, iPad's Pro came out, so I was really eager to try it. And if you're interested about learning more about iPad Pro and what different apps there are on there that I personally used, I actually wrote a blog post a while ago, and I do encourage you to check it out, because I write there kind of the benefits of switching to iPad for me. And now that apps are getting better and better, like Fresco came out, It's only just it's getting so much better. So I can only see iPad becoming even a better tool for artists and for illustrators. Something that happened to me while I was doing this illustration was that I used a watercolor brush. It was right in the end of the whole image. Everything was perfect, everything was finished. I just had to add the background. And when I added this massive watercolor stroke, my iPad froze. It froze, and then when I tried to close the app and reopen it, when I reopened it, when it came back to life, all my work was basically gone and it didn't synchronize to Creative Cloud. So that was really sad, and I'm really hoping that Adobe will fix these sort of issues. But meanwhile, it might be a good idea to just close your document from time to time so that to make sure that it all saves. And I drew loads of characters first, but then in the end I only used 2. I'm sure I'll come up with a new story or something like that for these characters. And this is actually how I always work. So I really hate planning, I hate sketching, I've always hated it. That's why art school was a total pain for me, because they always demand that you do lots of sketches beforehand. But the way I work is I just start drawing and then I kind of figure it out, and I have an idea in my mind how my final drawing should look like, and I just change it and fix it to the point when I'm happy with how it looks. So if I'm doing a bigger illustration like this, I would usually start with one character and I would probably spend quite a while getting it right. But once I have that character ready, I can imagine the whole story in my head, and then I can come up with a story and develop it into a book project or a series of illustrations, which is just how I work. And even though people tell you that you have to work a certain way, I don't think that's true. Thank you for watching this video. Please do let me know in comments if there's anything else you want to watch about, because I'm creating these videos for you guys, like really you. So hopefully that you enjoy this video, and give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. I get so happy when someone subscribes. See you in next video next week.